Does it have,
Does it have a what?
you know, tits and everything? And everything.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and then immediately discuss. Tonight we watched 1988's Destroyer, starring Lyle Alzado, and I think Anthony Perkins was in this one as well.
He was.
So let's dive right in. What was this movie about?
Well, this movie was about Lyle Alzado playing the Destroyer, who is an inmate named Ivan Mosier.
The biggest inmate you've ever seen.
Oh my god, this dude's gigantic. Can I go briefly into why I picked this movie?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Why?
Yeah.
I got
Eric, it's
two
Eric's
guesses,
pick.
and they were both bulging out of his shirt.
Dude's enormous. Okay, so like the cover to this movie is Lyle Alzado. He's shirtless and oily, and he's carrying a jackhammer, and he's wielding it like a weapon. And it looks like it has like a sniper scope attached to it. Like he got 50 kills in Modern Warfare 2, and he unlocked it as an attachment. He's ready to get some long-range jackhammer kills. That is the only thing I knew about this movie going in. I saw the cover. I was like, this looks phenomenal. And that is why I picked this movie.
That's a good way to.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's a good reason.
Those
Yeah.
good
enough
grounds
reason
to pick
for
a
me.
movie.
Good reason as any. And we got, actually, didn't you purchase this at the VHS PS?
Yes, at Rock and Chuck, VHS has a fantastic selection of VHS movies converted to DVD. All sorts of obscure things, crappy B movies that you might never hear of. So I appreciate the service that they put into in converting these from VHS to DVD, because this is the only way you can discover movies like this, aside from maybe finding them on YouTube if you're lucky.
Yeah.
It is doing a big favor to everyone.
Yes, because there are definitely some movies I would like to see that only exist on VHS, and I hope to see them sometime in the VHS PS store.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, Society was one.
Yep.
The last one that we did from them, and now Destroyer. So now we can dive into what this movie was about.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lyle Alzado plays Ivan Mosier, who is an he's a con.
He's not ex yet.
He's not an ex-con.
No,
in
he's
fact, he's
definitely-
never going to be an ex-con because he's on Murderer's Row.
And he's definitely a con because
Yes.
he even owns up to it.
Yes. So he's about to be executed, and they place him into the electric chair. And they turn the juice on too high, and there's like a power surge. He manages to survive the electrocution. And
And he just hangs out in the prison.
he just hangs out in the prison, yeah.
Is there some kind of like riot? Does he like incite the riot?
Yeah,
yeah,
Because
they
they
make-
glossed over that.
they
for a
kind of imply
second.
that.
Yeah, he
yeah.
yeah, I think
There were like
he escapes
1,400
during the
men.
riot.
Yeah, there's a riot, and the prison gets shut down as a result, I believe. They kind of gloss over it. They don't really show it, but it's somewhere buried in the exposition. So at some undeterminate time later, when the prison's been shut down...
About a year and a half.
Is it a year and a half? Okay.
Not very long
Is that what
at all.
Wikipedia says?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, so about a year and a half later, some producer for a terrible prison movie gets the rights to use this prison as a set for their film.
Norman Bates.
Norman Bates.
Yeah,
Lady
Anthony Perkins.
Prison.
Do you want to know what the movie they were shooting in the prison was called?
What was? I wrote it down, but I don't.
Wait, I want to think of a name.
All right, what do we all think the movie was called, Dennis?
Prissy Prison Pals.
Kind of close, but okay. Eric, what do you think?
Fun Times in Prison.
Fun Times in Prison High?
No, just Fun Times in Prison.
Oh, okay. What do you think it is?
Oh my god.
What do you think the name of the movie they were shooting in the prison was?
I have no idea.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
All right, well, the movie's called Death House Dollies. Oh, that's so you were actually
Wow.
pretty close,
Whoa.
Dennis.
That's better than anything I could have even guessed.
I
Yeah.
had to go the alliteration route, so
No, yeah, good call.
it was close.
Good call. All right, so continue. So they're shooting this movie.
Yeah, they're shooting the movie. Ivan is still hanging out in the prison.
Just chilling.
He's just hanging out. He's watching TV.
Hanging out with his family.
He actually is hanging out with his family.
Having
his
himself a party.
Shut up. His father is a custodian in the prison, and he's kind of feeding him victims throughout the movie.
He's just picking off the movie cast and crew
Pretty much, yeah.
one by one,
There's not a whole lot plot. It's just
all while
kinda-
fixated on one leading stunt lady.
Yes, the main character is
Lee Malone.
Not Lee Malone. I forget her first name, but it's not Lee.
Her last name is Malone.
It is Malone. I don't. I think all of us missed out on why Ivan had an obsession with this particular character.
Yeah, that seemed to have escaped me.
Yeah, I maybe we weren't paying close enough attention, or we missed it in some dialogue.
Yeah.
But Ivan has an obsession with the main character, Malone, who is a stunt woman for the movie. And he basically just picks off the entire cast of the film throughout the rest of the film.
All while sending her like creepy doll heads and bloody.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
like a slasher.
It's
standard
never,
80s slasher.
It's never really implied if he's a ghost or not, because there were some clearly supernatural happenings going on at a couple points. There was one point where she walks by a cell and there's a creepy doll head with a note, and then immediately walks by it again and it's gone.
He was living in the toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
that's
so.
all I can
How are you going to
assume.
fit a meaty man like that in a little teeny toilet?
Maybe
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe it was a big toilet.
Oh, that was a baby toilet.
Maybe it was a fake toilet.
That was just a hole in the ground. It's more of a latrine.
Do you want to know what it says here?
Yeah, why
Was he obsessed with her?
Well, no, I have no idea why he was obsessed.
I thought you
it
said
was
you
never
did.
touched. No, I have no idea.
God
What
damn it,
no,
Wikipedia.
I mean, my assumption was she was on that TV show that he was obsessed with.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
beginning
that
of the
was
movie,
her.
but-
Though.
I don't think it was her.
Right.
he's-
I mean, the Vanna White character didn't seem to be her.
When they show the flashback at the beginning, he's fixated on a Wheel of Fortune type game show, and there's a beautiful assistant putting the bees
Yeah.
up on the board that he wants. And I thought it was her because they're both beautiful and blonde.
Yeah, maybe they could have been the same person. I'm not.
I don't know.
She's got David
Maybe.
Bowie hair.
Maybe.
Yeah, she had like long, flowing, poofy 80s hair, and then the stunt lady had short David Bowie granny hair.
So much 80s hair in this movie.
Oh, that they make it a point to make sure you know this movie takes place in the 80s. There's no less than, I'd say, 3 lines where someone says it's the 80s. So blah, 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 blah.
Come on, babe, it's the 80s.
It's
see?
the 80s, Susan. Love isn't funny. I don't know what that means.
But so it claims here that he is half. Oh, God. Not again! It says here he's half alive, leaving him in a feral state and granting him spontaneous regeneration. So apparently he was able to spontaneously regenerate
Like Wolverine.
Makes sense.
because he's half alive.
With lightning powers.
I don't understand that. That I did not understand.
That's a fucking dumb explanation. He should have just been a ghost. Swear, like, just a straight Jason Michael Myers type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of the sense I got from the movie too.
Like, was he always super strong, or did the electricity make him extra strong? And if it made him extra strong, then why did it simultaneously also make him weak?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that part's a little shaky for everybody.
Just that
it's
whole
pretty obvious we
plot
don't
thing.
understand the plot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So moving beyond the fact that we didn't understand a lick of this movie, what did we enjoy about it? What do you think it did positive?
Some of the deaths and violence were so just awkwardly amazing.
This movie had a very unique way about going about the slasher kills.
Yes, it was very disturbing. Like all the shit he was doing, like cutting off her hair and eating it.
That was creepy.
And
Oh my
then
God.
I wrote
Savoring
notes.
it.
I wrote so many notes.
Okay, great. I'm glad you did.
Jackhammer to chest.
Yes, that's what we came to the movie for.
Yeah.
Head on copier.
Oh my God.
Yep, the head in the photocopier. That was
There's a
poor
decapitated head on the photocopier. It was just spitting out copies of his head.
decapitated head. And I had a note in here that the actual deaths in this movie, they legit disturbed me.
They were pretty.
Like
Yeah,
when
they were creepy.
The one where that dude was getting lit, the warden was getting lit on fire in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was
as he
pretty
was
scary.
burning, I was like, ew. That didn't make me feel good.
And
you know?
they dragged it on for a while too, because
Yeah.
first he's just in the stall and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then he gets like slightly toasted, and then he like crawls under to another stall all the while he's like getting more and more roasted, and you're like, "Oh, this poor guy."
You know what? That's another thing I was thinking this movie did well is like its victims weren't idiots. They actually were pretty smart about trying to escape, and like the main character is a stunt woman and she's like doing all sorts of cool shit to get away.
Yeah.
Like she's making like high dives from the top floor to like get away from this dude.
But he's like a 500-pound brick wall, so it doesn't matter.
I was thinking that near like probably around the half-hour mark where we mentioned we haven't seen Destroyer in a real long fucking time, but
Not nearly enough is being destroyed right now.
Where's the jackhammer in the faces? But I was kind of okay with that because I didn't hate any of these characters.
Yeah, no, they all
Yeah.
acted kind of like people.
Malone was okay. She was, she wasn't dislikable. The only person you didn't really like was the kind of main actress girl who was dating Norman Bates. But I guess
Oh,
you're
yeah,
never
yeah.
supposed
Perkins
to
was
hate
the
her.
director.
Yes, Anthony Perkins was the director of the movie they were shooting in the prison.
Yeah, you were definitely supposed to hate her. She was such a prima donna.
Even then, you kind of feel sympathetic for her. They set it up so like, oh, she used to be like a big, like she was on the up and up, and
Miss
she's kinda-
Dairyland carries her sash with her
Is
everywhere.
that what that sash meant?
Yeah.
I didn't see what it said.
Guessing she was some kind of like podunk
Some
beauty queen winner.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
and like someone talked her up that she was going to be a big star, and she's in this garbage.
Her
movie.
glory, that was her glory days.
Yeah.
You want to be a star, baby? You gotta.
So I like that because a lot of
Anyone I ever impersonate has that voice.
I realize
I'm always
that
like,
now,
come
yeah.
here now.
Come here, doll face. Let me see you.
Every guy in a movie just sounds that
Come
way.
up and
to
see
me.
me
It's the
sometime.
character of Ricky O. But yeah, I like the characterization of like the regular characters. They all like. I feel like in a lot of horror movies and a lot of slashers, the characters usually stock. You're just like, okay, this guy's gonna die for this reason. This person's gonna die for this reason. This movie, I didn't really feel that way, except for maybe about the director, who's just a prick the entire time.
Yeah, he was just
Sure.
kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
But then they didn't even show him for a while, and then all of a sudden he was dying.
He was back again.
He was like in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
electric
There was
chair.
that spike of action, like you mentioned.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie was strange. Like, it's very slow and kind of plotting. Like for most of the first 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden, just everything goes apeshit.
Yeah.
and the destroyer is destroying. Like, and it's literally like a shot of Malone walking into a room, and there's just like stuff written on the wall in blood, and then all of a sudden, everyone's just dying.
Another spooky supernatural little moment, like I mentioned. She walks in the room, sees spooky doll head and jar, and then turns around to the same wall she passed, and there's bloody writing.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I was like, is he a ghost? Is he...
I never got the impression that he was anything but like a dude who didn't die.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
That
guess
was a-
I guess what happened was the charge made him animalistic in some way.
Yeah,
And
But
he
he
kind
was-
of know what I mean?
He already raped and killed
Well,
like everyone at
exactly.
the beginning of the movie.
Even more so.
Is he a
Jesus.
con man? Is that what he was in jail for? He wasn't like a.
No, he was a rape
Creepy.
murderer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember
That's
they
what I
said...
thought.
yeah.
He killed 24 people.
Yeah,
Right,
23
yeah.
people.
Okay.
24.
Oh,
Exactly.
because at the beginning when we were describing it, you were like, "He's a con man." I was like,
Oh no,
No.
He was a con.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, a con man.
What's he doing? Playing cards on the corner or something? He's all
You deserve to be in jail for running an illegal.
So you run a long con?
maybe with arms like that. He was doing that cup game with the ball.
I was like, he seems like kind of a
Keep your eye on the
brute.
queen. Keep your eye on the queen. Here we go. Here we go.
Whoa, there's some fast.
Seems like a little too much of a brute for something so non-offensive.
for a 3-card Monty.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean, and
My bad.
He was really good. I
like him,
think
yeah.
he was doing a pretty good job
Yeah, that's the
overall.
thing.
He had like the good crazy eyes going on, and he was huge.
That's a theme for these past couple weeks is big strong men with crazy eyes murdering people in the
And
movies
like
we watch.
maniacal laughs.
maniacal laughs.
Yeah, that was Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home
Very
featured
similar.
Bobby
They're just large men with giant upper bodies and curly hair,
Yeah.
looking crazed and laughing.
Yeah.
While they murder.
While they maim and then murder.
Yeah. So, any other positive notes for this movie that we have? Oh, on top of characters being good, some of the side characters who I thought was good. Fingers.
Fingers is-
Our boy
yeah,
Fingers.
Louis Fingers. That's
Was
what
that
I
the
wrote
prop
down.
guy?
No.
Like
Oh, the prop
Like
guy
to
was
talk about him
great.
too, yeah.
Prop guy was my favorite character.
great, man.
He's always got to be one in every movie.
Who's
He's my
Fingers
favorite,
then?
man.
Fingers is the cook at the restaurant that David was at, who's the love interest
Oh, yeah. Okay.
of the stunt woman who's our main character, Malone.
I
Yeah.
recall that, man.
Fingers was the executioner for Ivan, and now he's working at the diner.
Yeah, and he was giving David information about the prison and the situation and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he was really good.
He was the one who said he was half alive.
Yes.
Whatever that means.
And then, as you guys said, there was the prop guy
Who was
who-
awesome.
As we've discussed, that's a character that can really only exist like before 1993. Is like this like the stoner surfer guy with like the bleach blonde hair and like the wacky outfit. But he's like kind of a genius in what he does. But he's always talking like this, man. There's just a lot of volts going through that. You got to be careful, otherwise there's going to be an overvoltage.
I was getting everything set up for the hanging scene, man.
Oh, I wrote down about when they were bringing the mannequin in to do the electrocution scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he asked, does it have tits and everything? I just thought that was noteworthy.
Good. Yeah, that really developed his character. I feel like that was a good sign. So what do we think failed in this movie?
Not enough destroyer.
Not enough destroyer?
Not enough destroying.
Well, first we said we liked the fact that he wasn't destroying the whole time, but liked what he destroyed.
Who said that?
Well, I thought we liked the
they
build.
They don't speak for me.
I thought we liked the builds to the destroyer. Maybe I misunderstood.
I think it was very sudden. I think a gradual build. A gradual build, like for example, in Society's got the same spike.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
A more gradual build where we kind of see this guy doing things would have been a little more interesting than, we basically got 45 minutes of setup, and it wasn't boring. Like there was a lot of good like horror movie comedy in there.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like silly characters acting silly and being kind of caricaturish. But I like I said, I picked this movie out because there's a big dude with a jackhammer, and he doesn't show up again until like another 45 minutes in. That's, it's a little disappointing, the expectations in that respect.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I want these movies to be all rise.
Totally.
Yeah, instead of
I want
rise.
to pop a high one from 0 to 60 minutes.
0 to 60, you want to be popping high ones?
Fuck yeah.
Whoa. Hey, we're not rating this yet. Just relax. Just relax.
Getting a little ahead of yourself.
Getting a little ahead. Anything risky about this movie at all? I mean, or anything else we want to gloss over with failures? Because in all honesty, this movie had a budget. Mm-hmm. It was pretty well made. Everyone showed up. It
was competent.
There was so much bush in this movie.
Lots of bush.
Whoa.
So much bush.
That tangled 80s bush. Woo.
Pubic afros everywhere.
Yeah, was that the shower scene?
Yeah.
The shower scene in the movie they were shooting in the prison, not the actual shower scene in the movie we were watching.
That's a good point. They
Although
were like
there was
filming,
a shower scene.
They were like filming an exploitation movie within the movie, and we got to see exploitation scenes.
Yeah, naked ladies in a women's jail, like fighting in the shower,
lazily wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that really wasn't risky if you wanted people to watch your movie in 1988. Yeah, throw some bush in there.
I think they even said that. They were like,
"It's the 80s, of course we have bush."
He was like, take your clothes off. She was like, me, no way. And then he was like, it's the 80s. Like, hello, everyone shows that tits in the 80s.
Streep, Nicholson, everybody, baby. Let's see them cans, doll. Beautiful.
Totally the 80s.
I'm sorry, to go back to things that I liked about this movie.
Yeah.
I thought the soundtrack was very good.
Oh, that's right. You did comment. It was groovy.
Yeah, very, very new wavy.
It was groovy.
Especially early on. It set like a tone. Like I really got into this movie based on the soundtrack. Like just super strong synth strings and just like very dark and brooding.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, we even watched pretty much all of the credits because we were grooving to that song.
Yeah, that was great. It sounded like The Living Daylights by Aha.
So let's go around and just talk about some of our favorite parts of this movie. Any particular deaths that we liked that we didn't talk about, or any sort of lines of dialogue that anyone really particularly enjoyed? Any details? Anybody?
I had two favorite parts.
All right, let's hear about them.
The first one I already mentioned, when he's strapping her into the electric chair and he's just teasing her with scissors and like pretending to cut his own tongue off, and then he cuts her hair off and then just puts it in his mouth, and I thought that was so fucking disgusting and
so
creepy
gross.
and unsettling. Everything bad.
He was eating hair with scissors like they were chopsticks.
Yeah, it was so unsettling. I feel like it was supposed to be like campy and stupid, but it really bothered me.
Yeah, some of this movie truly bothered me.
I was like, ugh, gross. Oh, and then in the end, when Malone is dreaming about him, and he comes back all burnt and deformed, and then he rips his ear off. And he tells her that he has something for her, and he rips his ear off, and then instead of giving it to her, he just starts eating it. And I was like, why is this happening? That's so not scary. Like, it is, but it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just silly.
It was disturbing. But
Why was he eating everything?
I don't know. It's a very
big
weird
guy like that, you got to get your protein.
Yeah, you gotta really bulk up, you know.
Yeah, you got to get your vittles.
I mean, sometimes you can't get the White Castle, you gotta eat your ear.
That's all cartilage.
That's disgusting. Eric, favorite parts?
I
part.
I gotta say the jackhammer death was exactly what I expected it to be.
That's good.
The cop there's a cop that's looking for the warden who was killed earlier in the film, and he comes across Ivan, and Ivan is wielding a jackhammer, and he does exactly what you would expect him to do with it. He jackhammers the cop through a wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And actually that is one of my favorite parts too, because of how silly the father was on the other side of the wall.
There was like a comedy bit going on the other
like
side of the
poking the jackhammer that's covered in splurting blood everywhere. He's like, ooh.
I know. At first, I didn't understand if Ivan knew that guy was there, or if he was just hiding and like watching somebody else get killed. So he was like, "Oh, better them than me." But then we find out that it's his dad, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was very confused at the time. I was like,
You kind of got the vibe he was setting them up, but maybe you didn't know he was his dad. But
Yeah,
you
I-
definitely knew that he was bringing people down there.
I was like, is he some kind of like creepy caretaker for this burnt?
Strange-o.
Yeah,
Strange-o.
Strange-o.
Dennis, favorite part?
Oh, I got to give it to right at the end, Malone and the father figure fall into the sewer. And they're fighting around, and she gets up on a little ledge, and he's like, help me! I can't swim! And he pulls her back in, and with a little act of quick thinking, she grabs a boulder and thunk right into his fucking forehead. And it's the best practical effect, probably of the whole movie.
It was so brutal.
It was
Oh
really
my
good.
God.
It was so
Of
believable.
the
Like,
whole
I was
movie, I slept through that part.
Yeah.
sorry.
It was really gross. The sound it made.
Yeah. It was
I
a straight
dozed for a
thunk.
moment.
And like the guy's eyes just like lit up.
Yeah.
And he just like fell over.
You
Like,
you could just see the prop sink into his forehead.
Blech.
Oh, yeah.
looks
We
so
all like
brutal.
gasped too.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
like,
sad.
oh!
Sad that I missed it.
like
Oh, it
I'll
was
show
fucking
you.
badass.
I woke up immediately after, and I saw him with his
Well-
like bloody forehead. And I was like,
Because we-
"Oh man!"
Because we yelled.
Yeah.
It was a very vindicated death.
I think it's because like it's such a believable thing that someone could do to someone
Yeah.
else. So it's like, oh no.
Totally. You could see like the desperation of her like grabbing at the rocks and then thunk.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was very
And
disturbing.
anything with fucking heads getting smushed or bashed would just creep me the fuck out.
Yeah, definitely.
It must have been a problem for you.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, I already said my favorite part. I'm going to go with the jackhammer and then the addition of the creepiness.
Oh, and can we also talk about? I know all of us have expressed the fact that back in the '80s there was always a man on fire in the movie,
Oh, yes,
fire.
man.
and
Love
this one afforded two men on fire.
Oh, yes.
movie Men on Fire.
And one was a giant man on fire.
Oh my god, yeah, and he was doing stuff. He was like, "I gotta find this pallet. No, pallet's no good. Okay, maybe gas
Exactly.
can. I'm gonna fall down here now."
Was one of the men on fire in the movie within the movie?
No, it was an actual
No,
man on
it
fire.
was the warden who was on fire first, and then it was
that's right.
the destroyer.
That would
Did
have
they
been
show him on fire though?
They did.
Yes.
Gordon? Yeah, they did. He's crawling away.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like he was just getting burnt in like the last stall and his face was all grimy, and then they cut to like his pants and it was just like crisped?
Crisped pants. No, they showed him fully flamed.
Oh, okay. Fully
He was
flaming.
engulfed. Yep.
You know, if
was
I go to the
engulfed.
store and I buy pants that are a little too long, I go to like a tailor and I get them crisped up.
Yeah, crisp the hem of these pants, please. Just crisp it right up.
Any final thoughts of this movie, guys? Any final thoughts on Destroyer? Anything we want to say? Get off our chest.
Nope.
Nah.
Get off our pecs. Get off on pecs.
And maybe a little later.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll, look up Ivan Drago, whatever his name is.
I know. I wanted to say that like 4 times when you were saying Ivan. I was like,
Drago! Ivan Moser.
Look him
Ivan
up and
Moser.
Admire what I could be. But, I like that McDonald's so much.
Well, I mean, if you took some steroids, maybe you could do it.
Oh, yeah, it's true. And get a tumor. Oh!
Yeah, that's maybe the kind of the downer about this movie is Lyle Alzado. I believe he was an NFL linebacker.
Yeah, he played for a couple teams,
got the
Super Bowl
neck for
champion.
Yeah, and I thought he was really good as like a villain, and I wonder why we'd never seen him after this. And it turns out he had passed away from a brain tumor in 1992.
Yeah, that's
Which is
funny.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the thing that I like to see in movies sometimes is that football players and pro wrestlers are like such natural, like they have like those gladiatorial instincts where whenever they appear in a movie, it's really cool. Like they fit in so naturally.
Well, like you said, all they got to do, they show up and just be big and intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy for a guy who's 6'4", 300 pounds. Like, you just stand there and loom.
Yeah, sling your beef around.
I love a nice beef slanging movie.
Go to Chipotle and get the beef sling.
Oh God! Don't even talk about Chipotle.
All right, let's rate it. Let's go around and rate it.
What the fuck?
Okay, let's go the other way. Dennis.
I'm giving this a fuck off.
A fuck off.
Fuck off.
All right, that's fair enough. So
I
why?
liked it. I liked the meaty, muscly, jackhammered man parts. But you know what? Other than that, it's all fluff.
It's all fluff.
I
Fluff
could've-
off.
Like we said, I could have done. I could have done with more meaty jackhammering men. That's right.
Strictly
But,
platonically.
I don't know. It's just kind of.
Platonic meat jacking, guys.
It was a lot. It was a lot of build up for not a lot.
All right,
So
fair
you know,
enough.
The laughs were few and far between. I don't think it's worth a viewing if you're looking for a comedy shit movie of that standard.
Totally understand. Eric,
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
an unfortunate fuck off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was really excited to watch this. I've had a couple people talk it up. The cover looked amazing. It doesn't really deliver what you expect it to.
Yeah.
I'd say it has a good highlight reel. So if you can find a highlight reel, or maybe if you're bored and you put it on the background and you just look up whenever something good happens, that
Yep.
would be a good bet.
True.
But otherwise, it sets things up and then they don't pay off in the way you want them to. Like you want to see more of like the crazy surfer stoner guy, and he doesn't really have much screen presence.
Yeah.
And you want to see more of Lyle Alzado because he's great.
Yeah,
And he really only gets a lot of screen presence in the last half of the movie. So, unfortunately, I'd love to give this a fuck yeah, but I can't.
All right, fair enough. Brett.
I'm gonna go with the sweeping fuck off.
Oh. Another fuck off.
A few parts were funny, but I felt like it just dragged out too long without kind of the same way Society did, like you mentioned earlier, just too stretched out with like the meaty beef slanging dispersed in between. It just wasn't enough. And judging by the cover, like I just wanted to see this guy jackhammering everyone 24/7.
Yeah.
Nothing but the hammer all the time. And it was not the case. And it was slightly disappointing. Although, like you said, I would agree, catch the highlight reel.
What are you talking about? I thought this movie had you riveted by the third act.
Yeah. I can tell
Oh, by my
the deep snoring.
my absorbed
I
snoring.
was gonna say those little floaty Z's over there. I was like, "Oh, Brittany's on the edge of her seat."
All this
No.
exciting meat jacking and beef slinging.
In all fairness, that was more just me being exhausted than the movie not doing its job. Because it was probably only a 10-minute period where I dozed like maybe 3 times, and I missed like 2 things that you guys mentioned.
The two best things.
I know. Ugh,
You missed Robert
Of
Smith getting
course.
pulled out of a car and then getting lariated off of a motorcycle.
wide awake for the first 50 minutes where nothing happened.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I think you could probably just put this movie on and cut to the halfway point, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The setup's okay, but you don't need to see it.
Yeah, because in itself it's confusing, like we mentioned anyway.
Yeah, I was saying
so-
that was the most misunderstood part was the actual long bit.
yeah.
And then the other parts were kind of fun in their independence.
What do you give this movie, Tom?
I'm going to give this movie a fucking fine.
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to do
Fucking
that.
fine.
Fucking fine. Fucking whatever.
Fucking fine. You can't commit.
I already told myself sitting on that couch out there I was giving this movie a fucking fine. And then you all said fuck
There's
off.
no such thing. I'm giving you a fuck you.
You can do whatever the fuck. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
It's true.
You piece of fuck.
I support that.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'm giving it a fucking fine because it was a fine movie. It was whatever. There was nothing
Wasn't spectacular.
about it, but there was nothing that was really bad about it. It was pretty middle of the road. But yeah, some of the scenes were pretty good. So you can check those scenes out, but I mean, I guess that's all it's really worth.
I catch your drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Anything else before we wrap up about this movie?
It's the 80s, Susan. Love
Yeah.
isn't funny.
Come on, dollface. Show your bush. It's the 80s.
All right. Well, you've been listening to Second Class Cinema. Tonight we watched Destroyer from 1988, and you can find it on YouTube, actually. And we got it from Rock and Shock. Was that the
VHSPS.
VHSPS.com booth?
Yeah.
Or you can go to their website, and
They have
we have
an
it on DVD.
abundance of DVDs.
They've got a lot of stuff, and we have a lot of stuff from them. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/secondclasscinema, and you can email us at secondclasscinema@gmail.com if you have any movies you'd like us to watch and discuss. Thank you.
Word's gonna hear about this and you're out of here! I hate you!
All right, that's lunch. Everybody back in an hour. We'll do the shower scene.
Good night, everybody.